And fun football, too, with the Broncos looking real good. Baldy, before we dive into the current state of the Broncos, we were just having the conversation yesterday. Sean Payton said that the Broncos are having some extension conversations with some guys, and some big notable guys. That maybe the top one is JFM. And we heard from a reporter in Denver that said the Broncos are not currently talking to JFM. Do you think that's a mistake? Do you think the Broncos should do whatever they need to in order to bring John Franklin Meyer back? Or is it to that point where you can't necessarily pay everyone on a defense?
Well, I mean, I would do everything I could to bring him back. I mean, he's just a great football player. I mean, he started with the Rams, got cut loose, and came to the Jets and built a home. The Jets haven't replaced him, not yet. And he went to Denver, and he's found a real home there. With DJ and Zach inside, and Malcolm, the whole group. It's good rotation. I think he's a core player. Just the way he plays the game, and the way that he can contribute in so many ways. I mean, he's a good pass rusher, but he's good against the run. He's a big body. Like there are not that many of those guys out there that have that well-rounded of a skill set.
Yeah, and it's a strange place for the Broncos because they drafted Savion Jones, tried to convert him from edge rusher to the interior, basically to be a JFM, to fit that exact mold. But when you look at it, when they've got Zach Allen and DJ and JFM and Malcolm, and now Uzurike's playing a bunch, you got Savion, all of a sudden that room's just so packed that there's no room for those guys to grow. It's tough to say we want to get rid of one of our really good players who's important to this pass rush because we think a rookie can do it. But at the same time, at some point, you kind of have to rip off the Band-Aid, right, and say, we have to use our assets somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, there is that philosophy, where you've got to develop, but at the same time, if their production is what it is and it's considerable, you can't think about the development of the future guy. However, if the guy is not playing good, then he's stealing reps. Then that's when then that guy is getting we're not getting a good look at him because we're not going to find out what he can do until he gets a chance to play. But it'd be hard to disrupt what they have going on right now up front just for a development of a young player. Like, you could push that to next year or later because of injuries, whatever might happen. I mean, Jahdae Barron wasn't playing when, Surtain was, out there, and now he's getting a chance to play, but that's because the opportunity presented itself. So, I don't think you can worry about that, right? Not when you have an 8-game win streak and you're looking at the division and you're looking at playing serious football in January right now.
All right, Baldy, changing topics a little bit here. This was kind of supposed to be the week where we settled the rookie of the year from last season, and unfortunately we're not going to get that. But quickly, if you can, if there was a redraft of the 6 first-round quarterbacks from last year today, knowing everything we know now about their play in the league, how would it go?
If we redrafted, I wouldn't change 1 and 2. I wouldn't change Caleb. Caleb needed a chance to play with a good coordinator and a well-built team. And all he's doing is ascending right now. Now, we'll see what happens on Black Friday in Philadelphia. But, I mean, he's playing good football. And Jaylen was, he was unanimous. Now, the injuries are the injuries. I thought last year, even week 1 against Tampa, his first start, I thought he was running too much. He ran 16 times in that game. And I go, he's nobody's built for it, especially him. And now he's got these injuries. But I know where you're going. Like, I probably would take Bo 3rd right now. I'd probably just stay with him. I'd move him up, obviously in front of Penix, but I would probably move him up to number 3 right now.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And that just speaks a lot to what Bo and Sean have been able to do. Baldy, on a different note, with looking forward with this team, are the Broncos in trouble when it comes to their running back spot right now? We've only seen one game with the team not having J.K. Dobbins, and the run game wasn't really able to get going against Kansas City. We did see Jaleel take a step, and obviously RJ is going to be called upon a lot moving forward. Do you think that this running back group will be able to work, not just in the regular season, but in the playoffs, or are they in trouble?
I don't know if they're in trouble because we got to see what they do against Washington this week. I like Jaleel, but I think he's a change of pace back. I don't know if he's a guy that you can pound it with. We got to find out if RJ can be that guy because we don't know yet. Wasn't very good against Kansas City. They weren't very good against Kansas City. And you can't rely on Bo just to kind of bail him out with scrambles and and others. We want to try to limit the amount of runs, and we'll see what I guess Tyler Badie would be the next guy. I'm not sure, but it's not what J.K. was. J.K. was awesome, but he does have a strong injury history, and that's why he's not in Baltimore. And he's not with the Chargers anymore. And they got what they could get out of him. They got a 8-game win streak. He was a big part of that. But it's unfortunate. But I don't know the answer to it until I see the rotation and to see just how effective they are, because short yardage goal line, 4-minute drill, like when you got the lead in the fourth quarter, all these things where you want a strong run game to happen. And every team that you play climbing the ladder in the playoffs is going to be incrementally better against the run. That's how they got there. So it remains to be seen right now.
Well, it's tough for the Broncos too to have that injury happen right after the trade deadline, because that was an opportunity to go out there and potentially patch that spot up. But now you're looking at practice squads. You're looking at free agents. Gus Edwards is out there. There aren't a lot of big names, guys, who could come in and just kind of patch that piece of the puzzle, the in between the tackles piece of the puzzle. One of those guys was Dameon Pierce, who apparently the Broncos were interested in. Do you think that adding somebody along those lines could be useful, or is just the talent gap between, a second-round draft pick in RJ Harvey and the guys who are going to be available at this point in the season too big for it to really matter that much?
Well, I'd be calling everybody's practice squad. Dameon Pierce just got released. I mean, he had a great rookie year. He didn't play much at Florida. And so he was awesome. And then the injuries just hit him, and it just knocked him down. Now, maybe he's damaged goods. I don't know, but you have to take a look at. He's still young. He's probably not 26 years old yet. I'm just guessing without looking at anything.
Yeah.
I'm guessing he's not even 26, and he does have the history of a 75-yard touchdown run, from scrimmage. I mean, I've seen some of the big plays he had his rookie year. He was really good. He just never found that form again. Now that was in Houston with some questionable offensive lines, but you have to. You never stop tinkering with the roster. You just because it's never over, and you always are trying to upgrade a position. And now they lost a really key, valuable member of the offense. Like I would be combing people's rosters, and I know there's trades are dead, but I mean the practice squad. I'd be looking at different guys. They probably have scouting reports on all these guys. It's not going to be somebody new, but I mean I would take a look at Dameon Pierce.
I like Damian Martinez, who is on the Seahawks practice squad right now.
University of Miami, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and before that, Oregon State.
Yep. Yeah, no, I agree. He was if you go, like I'm just remember studying a lot of the offensive linemen, Jaylen Rivers, some guys that came out of Miami this year, and just being around that program during the pro days with Cam Ward, like he popped quite a bit, and he was a really good player for them last year. So, I mean, that's certainly a possibility.
Baldy, speaking of guys that have popped quite a bit in the NFL, Von Miller. The Broncos get to play against Von for the third time in his career. Where is Von at in this stage? How worried should the Broncos be about him right now in this game?
Well, I'm around Von actually quite a bit. I do a sack summit every year out in Las Vegas, and we have a mutual business interest with a foot company, shoe company. So I'm around him. I break down all his film every week. Like he can still, like his thing is, it's actually interesting to talk to Von about pass rush, because he's not a guy that says, well, you got to perfect this move. You got to have this move. Like what Von always has done, even in his prime in Denver, is he likes to get a great takeoff, and then he likes to get his hands on guys and then react. And so, that guy can still win. Like if Bo steps up and Von's on the outside and he can disengage from your right tackle, like he's going to go close. He's still got closing speed. He made a play in the last game against Miami on the other side of the field, chasing Tua down. So he's still, I think he's got 4.5 sacks right now, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But I mean, he can still get to the quarterback. And so, if he gets to the quarterback, he can affect the quarterback. And he always knows, depending on where he's at on the field, if he could get the ball out, you always have to be cognizant of that.
Well, Baldy, we know that you are close to Vaughn. Maybe tell him to continue tearing it up, but just not this week. Be kind to Bo. And final one for you, Baldy.
Yeah.
When you look at this Commanders team right now, like Ryan said earlier, it seemed like this was going to be such an awesome game. Now it's lost some of that because the Commanders, when you look at them, they're a 3-8 team, likely starting their backup quarterback this week. What do the Broncos have to do to avoid a pretty big upset here, or should this be a pretty easy win for them?
Well, I mean, on paper, it's an easy win, but, they had the bye week also. So, if they're going to make any changes or look at any players I just know Cliff Kingsbury, like, he didn't sleep. All he did was tinker all week. So you're going to see whether it's new formations or gadget plays, or he'll go deep in his bag to try to create a play or play here, play there. So, really, good defense is just play your defense, read your keys, and you shouldn't be out of place. But I'd be cognizant of something Cliff does, especially with Mariota, because he could catch. He's a good athlete. He can catch it. They can throw it back to the quarterback. Like all these gadget plays, I've seen Cliff pull a bunch of them out when he had Mahomes at Texas Tech. I've seen him when he was at Arizona. So I'd be cognizant of that. They find different ways to run the ball, at a variety of formations. And then, I'm sure Dan Quinn is doing everything he can. They've lost 6 in a row, doing everything he can to find a spark, maybe a new player, a new way of getting to the quarterback. They love to blitz Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louvu, but I could see them going all, just hell bent for leather, like just throwing it all out there. And so that's what you have to be cognizant of.
Yeah, it's a very good point. Sunday Night Football, too. You want to put your best out there. And, Baldy, you always put your best out there with us. We appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving. We're thankful for you. Enjoy a big-time football weekend.
Yeah, I plan on it. Look, likewise. I'll be at Texas A&M, Texas on Friday.
Ooh.
And then I'll be up doing the Falcons game on Sunday. So I'm excited. It's a good weekend for me.
Oh, I love it, Baldy. Thanks for joining us.
Hey,
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Awesome to talk to our guy, Baldy, man.